Former WWE head writer and senior vice president of Dwayne Johnson's Seven Bucks Productions, Brian Gewirtz, was a guest on The Masked Man show. And he talked about the now infamous segment from Groundhog Day, the Groundhog Day episode of Smackdown this year. It feels like Groundhog Day, still reading and talking about this stuff. But I couldn't let this go without mentioning it. It was the segment where Cody Rhodes, after winning his second straight Royal Rumble, confronted Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring, and he said that he was coming for Roman's title. He was coming for everything that Roman had, just not at WrestleMania. Before introducing The Rock, who came out to take Cody's spot away from him. One of the best examples ever of not knowing how to read the room. Gewirtz said that on paper, Cody's promo looked very different the way they conceived it. He said, Cody is a human being who is genuine and real, and he wears his heart and emotion on his sleeve. In Alabama, that was where the Smackdown show took place. Certainly, even if you tell me that would never work, it's stupid to propose it. The idea was supposed to be, it's like the Nixon-Kennedy debate a little bit where you read the transcript, you're like, oh, Nixon kicked his ass, but then if you watch the actual footage, oh, he was a sweaty, terrible mess. Cody, it was supposed to be, in some form, yeah, fucking A, go get him, Rock. You're going to get your ass kicked, Roman. Let's do this. And this uplifting promo. Why am I getting like 90s, like early 90s cartoon vibes from this? Go get him, Rock. You're going to get your ass kicked, Roman. He says it was supposed to be this uplifting promo. Instead, he looked like someone shot his dog in the face in the parking lot. Just look at his expression. That, I don't think, helped matters. It might not have changed or affected anything, certainly on paper, and I don't blame Cody for that. He's real, and one of the realest people I've ever met. He said what he had to say in the promo, but you couldn't mask what he was really feeling, and I think the fans felt that a lot. They felt like he doesn't mean a word of this. This is being forced for him to say. He's despondent. He's literally doing the Michael Cera Arrested Development Charlie Brown walk out of the arena when he is supposed to be on Cloud 9. I think that had a lot to do with it. Cloud 9? Yes. Cody Rhodes, 7 months after tearing his pec, goes and wins the Royal Rumble. Then he goes to WrestleMania and gets fucked out of a title win by the Bloodline in the biggest match of his life in front of his family in the front row. Then he has to fight Brock Lesnar for the next 4 months. His team wins War Games. He wins his second straight Royal Rumble, something that has not been done in 26 years. Earns the right to challenge Roman Reigns again to avenge last year's soul-crushing defeat. Is not quite on Cloud 9 yet. Not until he steps aside to let The Rock take the match instead. Now he's on Cloud 9. Fucking A. Go get him, Rock. Remember WrestleMania 9? Go get him, Hulk. These people are fucking delusional. Completely breathtakingly delusional. Now he's defending himself on Twitter by saying, oh, literally, I said, I don't blame Cody. Yes, he said that. But everything else that came out of his mouth after that says he absolutely blames Cody. Go read what he said. Well, if only he had sold it better. If only he had a smile on his face when he said it. Maybe dance the jig in the middle of the ring. You know what that is? Everything he said in that quote is the Principal Skinner scene from The Simpsons, where he very briefly, just for a fleeting moment, he ponders if he is the one who was out of touch, only to snap out of it and say, no, it is the children who are wrong. It's the Vince McMahon way of thinking. I'm not out of touch. My ideas are great. It's the people who are wrong. No wonder he lasted there as head writer for so long. The reaction would have been the same either way. If anything, it might have actually been worse had Cody played it the way that they wanted him to. He already looked like the biggest geek for handing over his spot. Imagine if he handed over his spot with a smile. Cody played it like any real person in that situation would have. Cody, by the way, is also a smart guy, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew it was fucking stupid and what the reaction would probably be, And he was correct. You know, some people think Cody might go into politics when he's done wrestling. I would argue he already has. He played them like a fiddle. And thank God he did. We got Final Boss Rock out of it, and 2 big matches now instead of 1. Well played. There was some confusion this week about Ivar after an angle at the end of NXT where he was shown laid out on the ground in the back by the returning Gallus. And the announcer said that Ivar would be out indefinitely. And that sounded a lot like a good reason to write him off TV for a real injury. But then Dave Meltzer posted an item this week in The Observer that his sources told him that Ivar's injury was not legitimate, and he was recently granted time off for working so hard of late. They decided to give him some vacation time. But Sean Ross Sapp came out and said that that is not true, and Ivar's injury is very much real. Then we heard from the man himself. Ivar took to Twitter to clear things up and said, "There has been a lot of misinformation floating around about me. Let me clarify. Yes, I am injured. Yes, it is very serious. No, I have not had surgery. Still trying to figure out all options and what this means for my future. That being said, I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of love and support, not only after finding out I was injured, but throughout the last several months. I have heard you all. No matter what happens, I owe it to everyone who ever believed in me to do everything I can to get back in that ring, under those lights, and in front of the most amazing fans on the planet. See you as soon as I can." So Dave in the dirt again. Dave has had a rough time of it recently. I honestly think now more than ever, and I don't know if this was an example of it or not, because it would be pretty shitty for WWE, someone in the company to leak, something false about someone being hurt. But I honestly think now more than ever, they are feeding him misinformation just to see if he runs with it. And then he does. And he clarified later on in his daily update on the website that Ivar's injury is more serious than we were first led to believe. I mean, that's very much not what he said in the newsletter, though. So it's very embarrassing. I mean, the whole thing from all those months ago where he was being fed information by a fake source for like a year and didn't know it. I mean, it's been bad. It's been bad, but that was very embarrassing. And so now both members of the Viking Raiders are out. Eric had a very serious injury. He's been out for months. I don't know when he's due back. And now Ivar out indefinitely. So who knows when we'll see him again, but best wishes to him, whatever route he chooses. Hopefully he gets back as soon as possible.